I mean this. I never, and I mean never, ever, ever want to hear again that the Indiana Fever are some super team. Because according to the WNBA GMs, the Fever are nothing. The Fever are not contenders. They don't have the best young core. They don't have the best player at any position, or the second best player at any position. They don't have the best young player. They don't have one of the top 3 coaches. They don't have the best fans. If the Indiana Fever, based on WNBA GMs, finish above the 6th seed, it should be considered a huge win. According to the GMs, they should be worse than the Aces, who should go 44-0, because they have the best point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center, according to GMs. They also have the second best coach and the best acquisitions, which was just Kennedy Carter, and the best 6th player. So if the Aces don't go 44-0, they've underperformed based on the GMs. And realistically, the dream, based on the answers that were given, these 5 teams should be better than the Fever. These 5 teams should be better than the Fever. Heck, you couldn't even put Caitlin Clark on the GM survey graphic because they didn't deem Caitlin Clark the best at anything. Not only that, they didn't deem Caitlin Clark the second best at anything. Only 7%, maybe they didn't pass her, only 7% of WNBA GMs said Caitlin Clark is the best passer in the league. And somebody who has never averaged more than 6 assists per game got best passer because she can make 360 spins. But let's look at where Fever were disrespected as a team. Nobody voted for the Fever to win the finals. And I'm okay with that. Because if you guys don't know, 20% vote for the Fever to win the finals last year. And the Fever are way better this year than last year. At least Caitlin got 1 vote to win MVP. But so did Alicia Gray. Caitlin Clark is not the best young player. Is not the player to start a franchise with. Heck, she is not even out on her own in second. And this is the less disrespectful than saying Caitlin Clark is worse than a player who averages like 10 points and 5 assists a game. But so be it. In terms of making adjustments, Caitlin and Kelsey Mitchell got 1 vote each. Most likely for breakout season, nobody from Indiana. Caitlin Clark, the second best point guard in the league. Somehow, after a season where Chelsea Gray played small forward and in the finals played mostly power forward, gained 23% extra vote, despite the fact that she did not make the All-Star team. Yes, Skylar Diggins made the All-Star team. Paige Bueckers is not a point guard, but still made the All-Star team. Veronica Burton is a better player than Chelsea Gray. It's that annoying. Who's the best shooting guard? Sabrina Ionescu, who is playing point guard this year. So be it. But who is the best forward? No, Fever players, duh. Best center, Aaliyah behind John Quell. Best overall moves, the Indiana Fever, not on the list. And you know what? Fair. No Fever player will make the biggest impact. Did they have, at least they have 1 player got 1 vote in underrated player acquisition. No surprising moves. No most improved. In fairness, the Indiana Fever went from 6th seed to 6th seed, so it's probably best not to win that one. Nobody for Rookie of the Year. And by the way, unpopular opinion, Raven Johnson has as good a chance as Easy Foot of winning Rookie of the Year. And in a redraft, I would draft Raven Johnson over Easy Foot. I just would. I don't think Easy Foot's that good. Which rookie best player in 5 years? Awafam, probably the case. Who was the biggest steal? Nell Angloma, who we haven't seen yet. Tania Latz in the second round. No Raven Johnson. No Raven Johnson here. Dominique Malonga winning at number 2 last year was wild. But no Raven Johnson in the biggest steal. But Olivia Miles at 2 got a vote. And some GM said that reaching on Gabriela Jaquez is going to give you the biggest steal in the draft. I don't think they know what steal means. The best international player, Fever don't sign international players. They don't have any. Duh. Nobody in the best defensive player. Dejanay Carrington got votes over Aaliyah Boston. Best interior defender, Aaliyah Boston got 0 votes. Best perimeter defender, obviously Alexi Hull isn't going to get any votes because she's not that. Best defensive team, who the fuck voted for Indiana as the best defensive team? I mean this. Like, I think WNBA GMs are supposed to be smart. A WNBA GM vote. This is trolling. This is actually trolling. You voted for Indiana Fever, who, by the way, like, they're gonna be way better defensively in like the wings, but they're not gonna be good on defense as the best defensive team. That's mental. But yet, oh look, we have the best defender by a mile. We're not going to be the best defensive team. Not one vote. But yeah, the Fever, despite a bunch of bad defenders on their team, in Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell and Mo Billings, got a vote. But whoever voted for the Fever didn't vote any of their players. Doesn't make sense. Best head coach, nothing for the Fever. Best motivator people. Cool. 2 people said Stephanie White. Stephanie White literally brought a team of 50% hardship players to this close to the finals and didn't get best motivator. What? Makes no sense. One person voted for Stephanie White for best offense. That's confusing, but maybe this year they'll be onto something. Because to be fair, I remember last year Carl Semesco got votes and they hadn't played a game yet. Which head coach will have the biggest impact on their team? Sandy Brandello is a weird one. Just because none of these are all first time head coaches and they all just want to vote for her. Breanna January at least got some votes for best assistant coach. And Fever, not the most fun team to watch. Not the best home court advantage. The 4th best young core. The fourth best young core. You have Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what else you have. You have Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark. It should not matter at all. Most athletic. Somehow, Kelsey Mitchell receiving the same amount of votes as Cameron Brink. Caitlin Clark, 7% on best passer. And no Caitlin Clark for IQ. No Aaliyah Boston for IQ. That's kind of embarrassing. That is kind of embarrassing. Who the fuck voted for Paige Bueckers and Enrique for taking a shot with the game on the line? The Dallas Wings lost every single close game they played in last year. And the only close games they won last year were games where they were up 20 and nearly blew it. Like, if you look, any time it was a neck-and-neck game, they lost every single one last year. Everyone. Bar none. Ooh, no, they beat Connecticut once. And it was nothing to do with Paige Bueckers or Enrique hitting shots. I'll tell you that for one. Which 2 teams will lead the conference? No votes for Indiana. Sorry. One person voted for Indiana to win the commission, to make the Commissioner's Cup final, despite the fact they won it last year. And yeah, so Indiana Fever are not contenders. They don't have the best at any position. They don't have the best young core. They don't have the best coach. They don't have the best fans. And based on all the votes, they should be around a 6-7 seed. Especially with, Golden State's defense and Natalie Nakase's offense being better than Stephanie White's. If they probably should be worse than the Vox as well. So, yeah, if the Indiana Fever finish above 8, the WNBA GMs should be disappointed, and it's good. That should be the expectations for the Fever. When they go 27 and 17, it should be seen as a unbelievable season because they're not expected to be above 500 according to the GMs. But anyway, yeah, see you guys.